Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, a family seeking justice.
Presidente, sana mapatay mo yung nagpatay sa kanya, sir.
Another Filipina domestic worker killed in Kuwait.
Sa ngayon, nakakulong yung mag-asawa na employer niya.
The government imposing a partial deployment ban.
Hindi po kami mauna na magpapadala ng magdi-deploy ng bago.
But will this be enough in preventing abuse and the loss of more Filipino lives in the Gulf state? Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III signs the memorandum ordering the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, or the POEA, to issue a partial deployment ban to Kuwait. The order says that the deployment ban should take effect immediately for new hires and balik manggagawa. The government expressing outrage over the death of another Filipina domestic helper in Kuwait. The killing of Jennylyn comes almost 2 years since the Philippines and Kuwait signed a memorandum of agreement to protect the OFWs in the Gulf state. Let's go straight to the source of the story. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III. Secretary, good to have you. Maraming salamat po for visiting us here sa CNN Philippines. I'm just going to show this already to be very clear about it. This is the order of Secretary Bello. It actually says it orders, sir, the POEA to convene the board to issue a
board resolution imposing a partial deployment ban to cover the HSW, this is the household service workers, including yung mga BM o balik manggagawa. Initially, I was inclined to exempt yung mga balik manggagawa dahil ito yung mga nagbakasyon eh. But in consultation with the DFA, they suggested that we include even the balik manggagawa.
Sino ho bang balik manggagawa?
Ito yung mga nagbakasyon na mga during the holidays. Oh, so if they could go back now, they will be affected by this.
Kasama mo ba yung skilled sa balik manggagawa?
Hindi. Yung mga,
so we're just talking
skilled,
about household helpers.
The skilled workers and the professionals are not covered by this ban.
So let's make that clear. They're not covered. We're only looking at household workers.
Yes.
So ang sinasabi niyo po, to be very clear, wala pang ban ngayon. Inuutos niyo po ang POEA na i-convene a board
then come
to
up
order
with
the
a board
ban.
resolution. Yes.
To order the partial ban. Which means, Secretary, to those watching us right now, yung pong mga nais umalis, ay pwede pang umalis
Pwede pang beat the deadline nila. Pwede pa.
When do you expect them to be able to issue the partial deployment ban?
Anytime this morning po, that will come out po.
So siguro yung mga ngayong umaga pa lang ang maaaring makaalis. Secretary, can you give us the latest on the death of Jennylyn, sir?
Well, you know, yesterday I had lunch with the Kuwaiti ambassador, and he informed me that the couple, referring to the employers of Jennylyn, are now under detention. And he said that they will be charged soon. And he asked me until Monday for the charge to be filed. So I told the ambassador that the moment that charge is filed, then I can lift the partial deployment ban. Without that charge, I cannot. I told him that. So he looked very apologetic dahil talaga namang I think they realized na masyado nang naapi yung ating mga kababayan doon. So, in fact, I told him the president is inclined to declare a total deployment ban. But I said I can convince our president to be satisfied with this partial deployment ban muna, considering that the suspect are under detention. So, to me, medyo okay na rin yun. Kaya lang ako, they must be formally charged. Kasi this is not the first time na may nangyari sa ating mga kababayan. Yung kay Di Mafeles, and then recently yung kay Constancia
Dayag.
Dayag, taga-amin pa naman yun.
Opo, Isabela.
And you know what happened? Ano, I was disgusted with the result of the investigation. Pinalabas nila na she died on her own daw. Paano nangyari yun na 3 days na nandun sa kwarto niya, and yung death niya was reported only after 3 days? Ano, katulong, hindi mo nakikita ng 3 araw? So, duda ako doon, pero wala tayong magagawa. Hindi naman pwede natin pakialaman ng justice system ng Kuwait. So,
But it's also si Dayag, sir, hindi ho ba she was sexually abused as well?
there was a report na hindi ko pinaniniwalaan na yun daw cucumber na insert sa kanyang private parts. Pero I cannot, I think pinapalabas nila kasi doon na nag-ano siya ng...
Okay.
Oo.
Okay, sir. Sir, so the couple, mag-asawa po itong amo ni Jennylyn Villavente.
Yes,
Balikan
yes.
ko lang po siya. Now under detention.
Yes.
Ano hong kinamatay?
Well, the report, we have to wait for the forensic report, no? The autopsy and everything. But the initial report from our labor attaché is that she was beaten black and blue. Kumbaga sa Tagalog, bugbog sarado. Bugbog sarado. And although the initial report was that yun lang babae, sabi ko, I cannot believe na a lady can kill another lady by just
Nang bugbog sarado.
physical injuries. Hindi
Yeah.
pwede, sabi ko. Kaya palagay ko, pinoprotektahan niya yung husband niya.
How was she found, sir? Any more information? Kailan ho siya nahanap? Not
They were brought. She was brought to the hospital.
by
By the couple.
by yung mag-asawa po. And was she DOA?
Patay na, DOA na po.
Dead on arrival.
Dead on arrival.
But how long, any more information, sir? How long was she there bago po dinala sa ospital or
Yun ang
immediately?
hindi natin alam. That is what we have to wait from the forensic investigation. No?
But when was the last communication of the family kay Jennylyn, sir?
Kay Jennylyn, the last was November. Oo, kasi first was September. She was calling the agency. Kaya ito agency na ito, pinag-iinitan ko rin At that time, may problema na. Sinabi ko doon sa agency, dapat at that time,
Opo.
nirepatriate nyo na ako.
Yeah, let's put that, sir. Let's lay down the premise there. The reports say that in September she complained of maltreatment and even
Yes.
underpayment of salary.
Yes,
How do you know that nag-complain po siya nung September pa lang ng maltreatment?
Natawagan niya yung
Agency?
Yung parents niya. Natawagan niya. And then another call, November. And the last was December. Pero this time, it was not her na. Ang madastra, the second wife ng father niya,
Yeah.
called her. And ang sumagot, sabi, wrong number, gumagano. Pero telephone ni
Jennylyn.
So,
Hindi ho daw ang sumagot is the wife, tapos sinabi po, she's busy,
basta
she's
babae
working.
daw, working tayo. Wrong number, gumagano, mga para iniiwasan lang na makausap si Jennylyn. So,
Nagtaka na sila, sir.
talagang there was already cause for kumbaga sa red alert na dapat Kaya sabi ko doon sa agency, dapat pinauwi nyo na agad.
What did the agency say, sir? Who's the agency and what did they say to you? Because kung nag-complain po siya ng September, hindi ho ba dapat tinulungan na siya ng ahensya?
Dapat, oo. Yung nga, kahapon, tinanong ko sila, they came to the office nga and explained na they were trying to help. Sabi ko, anong klaseng help? Dapat, at first instance, dapat pinauwi nyo na. Yun ang trabaho ninyo. The problem with you is, akala nyo yung responsibility nyo sa OFW ends the moment
Napadala nyo.
deployed na. It should be continuing obligation. So it not cease in the proper situation. So yun, I even told them frankly na, don't be surprised if I will have your license suspended or worse, canceled, sabi ko. Oo.
So what did they say, sir? So she
Well,
reported in September that she is being maltreated, was being
Ang
maltreated.
sinasabi nila, hindi naman daw nag-complain about maltreatment. Ang kino-complain daw niya, yung sweldo lang.
But that's still
That's
an
not
abuse,
true.
sir.
Oo, that is not true. Also.
But if they're saying, sir, na hindi naman minaltreat for the sake of argument, sir, pero hindi binabayaran,
Yes, that's
they
already
should have
reason.
stepped in
That's
as well,
already
sir.
reason.
Apo.
Enough reason for her to be either transferred or repatriated.
Can you
So,
name the agency? Are you at liberty to name the
yeah,
agency,
of
sir?
course. 5-star. Iniwan ko, dapat sabi ko nga 1-star lang kayo.
five-star itong agency.
Five-star
So,
agency.
sir, what happens right now is the couple is under detention. Yung employer po si five-star. What's the next step for them before you possibly suspend or end their
Well,
license?
First, we'll ask them to explain their failure to give sufficient protection to Jennylyn. And if their explanation will not satisfy our administrator of POA, including the board and including me, then we will have to impose some administrative penalties.
I just want to raise this point, Secretary. There's a MOA with Kuwait. There have been instances in the past of deaths and abuse, sir. I'm
Yeah.
going to go back to that. We'll talk about that again later. Hindi ho ba dapat mas tutok
Yeah.
yung mga ahensya at yung embahada or the POEA
Yes,
dun sa
that is true. That is true.
mga kababayan natin doon?
In fact, that MOA was the result of the total deployment ban which our president issued after the case of Joanna de Mafiles. Now, in addition to the MOA, there should have been a template contract of employment which should contain the provision that President Duterte wanted included, like hindi pwedeng pakialaman yung passport,
Opo.
yung cellphone, that the working hours should be specified, the sleeping hours should be specified, yung pagkain should be the choice of the worker, not the employer. Yung transfer from one employer to another should be with the consent of the worker and approval of the labor attaché. Ganon. That should be there should be a contract of that nature. And that was the subject of several meetings between their technical working group and our technical working group.
What happened, sir?
Hindi nga nagkakasundo eh. And in fact, December 27, I had a meeting with Ambassador Altwick, asking us to send our group, our technical working group, to Kuwait to finalize, because I think our president is supposed to visit Kuwait. But I told him, it should be you coming to the Philippines for the finalization of the proposed contract of employment. And yun ang stage nun, bago dumating itong kaso na ito.
Secretary, so there is a MOA.
Yes.
May memorandum of agreement
Yes,
po.
oo.
Pero how binding is that? Are you saying that there's a MOA but you need a contract with the
Yes.
specifics?
That's
Ganun
the
ho ba?
provision of the MOA. Na dapat may kontrata.
So, bakit pa ho tayo nagpapadala ng mga manggagawa doon? Kung meron po tayo, it's almost as if the MOA is useless, sir. Because that a contract should accompany the MOA, tama ho ba?
Yeah, actually, yung MOA na yan, medyo protective na sa ating mga OFWs. Pero gusto ng ating presidente na may specify doon sa contract mismo of employment.
I'm going to show the MOA after the break because there it says they should be able to cook their own food,
Yes.
they should be paid on time, and dapat yung kanilang mga pasaporte ay pwede lamang i-deposit sa embahada.
If that is what they want, because it's safer there. Baka mamaya nakawin ng employer, di ba?
Oo.
So, mas mabuti na i-deposit ang embahada.
Yung po mga laman ng Memorandum of Agreement.
Apo. Yung
Nandun po yan. All right, we'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III. Sir, please explain to us the significance of the MOA if you're saying that kailangan meron pa rin talagang kontrata between the agency and the employer na yung laman ng MOA malagay doon sa kontrata. Tama ho?
That's
sir?
correct. Kasi, Pinky, the MOA is between our government and the Kuwaiti government. And under that agreement, there should be a contract that will be entered into between our OFW, the employer, and the
Agency.
foreign recruitment agency and the Philippine recruitment agency.
Apat po yun, opo.
Apat po yun. Dapat pipirma para everybody will be answerable kung sakaling may violation.
Nasunod ho ba yun?
Ha?
Nasusunod ho ba
Hindi
yun?
nga
Yun
kami
nga
nagkakasundo. Doon kami hindi nagkakasundo. Dahil gusto na dalawa lang pipirma.
Sino?
Yun lang
Sinong gusto nila, sir?
Yung gusto lang employer tsaka yung
OFW.
worker natin. Ligtas yung dalawa.
It's as if they don't want to include both agencies, local and Kuwaiti. Ayaw nilang isama doon sa...
Ayaw nila isama doon sa signing of the contract of employment.
How important is that,
It's
Secretary?
very important because if anything happens, you can only go against the signatory. Wala naman sabihin ng agency, hindi naman kami kapirma dyan eh.
Opo.
Di ba? So that's what they are avoiding. Kaya 2 years na kami hindi nagkakasundo. But the latest, ewan ko ba, coincidence siguro, 27 December, Ambassador Altwick asked me, you go to Kuwait, second week of January. We finalize the contract. I said, no, yeah, we are really talked about not going, us going there,
You
but
come
you
here.
coming here.
And what did he say?
Better you go there until this, because of this incident yesterday, they agreed to come here already.
Papunta na po sila?
Papunta na po
Second
sila.
week of January.
Yes.
To finalize this.
The contract of
Opo.
employment.
And does that mean, sir, that all four will form part of the contract?
They should be.
All four will be signatories.
Yes.
So my question, Secretary, is why did we lift the ban? I understand, sir, may MOA. Ito pong gusto
Yeah.
ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas sa gobyerno ng Kuwait. Pero it's as if it's not in effect until a contract is signed among all four parties involved. So parang,
Correct yung observation mo. But then, between government, palagay ko tama na sa ating sa ating gobyerno na pumirma yung Kuwait to protect our workers.
Yeah.
Kaya lang hindi pa nakakalusot yung yung
kontrata.
Yun.
So do you think Jennylyn was protected, sir?
In a way, she was protected kasi nandun naman yung mga provisions na sinabi niyo, no? Pero yun lang nga, wala tayong habulin eh. Kasi yun lang employer niya eh, yun lang nag-aabuso naman.
Yeah. Sir, I want to bring this up on the screen because yung MOA po, binalikan ko po yun. Let's start with Article 1, Section 6 of the contract. Basically, it says it's to provide a mechanism of inspection and monitoring of the level of care offered to domestic workers through official authorities in Kuwait. Isa po yan. So dapat, ma-check yung mga empleyado.
Dapat ang Kuwaiti should
Sila
check.
mag-check.
Oo.
Kaya lang hindi po yan in effect dahil kailangan po ng
Hindi mo naman
kontrata.
pwedeng utusan ng
Oo nga
di
po
ba?
eh.
Hindi kagaya kung yung ating agency. Oy,
Ang mag-check.
dapat i-check mo yun, gano'n.
Why don't our agency check?
Kaya,
Why not?
kasi wala nga doon sa MOA, di ba? Oo.
Okay. Article 2, number 2, as per the MOA, to provide food, housing, etc., compensate for job injuries, and transporting the deceased body when she dies, and paying the wage of the month in which the worker died. Yan din po yung bahagi ng MOA, again, nawala po sa kontrata kasi hindi pa
Hindi pa
nagkakaroon ng
nagawa.
kasunduan.
Pero that is already binding. That is already sufficient protection for our worker. Kapag may mangyari sa kanya, may mga benefits due to her. Pero even without that, Pinky, our OWA is prepared to give all the benefits due to an OFW. If you are an OFW and anything happens to you, you are given all the benefits due to an OFW.
Absolutely.
Like kung namatay ka, you're entitled to death and burial benefits, livelihood, yung scholarship for the children, or even the next of kin.
Well and good, sir. However, what about the penalty on the suspect? Yung pong pumatay, hindi ho ba? Ando na po tayo.
Yung
Tinutulungan-
criminal, dapat mananagot yun. But yung civil damages is another.
What kind of effect would Jennylyn's case, sir, have on the Memorandum of Agreement? Mapapabilis ho kaya yung next step na pag-sign ng kontrata sa
I think so.
pagdala
I think so.
pagpunta
By the
nila
way,
dito?
Aside from that, since she is a bona fide OFW, she is entitled to a $15,000 insurance. Automatic po yan.
That goes to the next of kin?
Yes. Kasi wala siyang asawa, dalaga.
Sir, what is, maybe you can help us understand the situation. Nangyari po yung kay Demaphiles, freezer, yung
Yes,
kanyang katawan.
oo.
Si Dayag po, injured, dead, supposed to be sexually abused. Ito pong si Jennylyn, supposed to be
Also.
black and blue.
Yes.
Are they taking the MOA seriously, sir? Or
Well,
ano ho
in
bang tingin nila
fairness,
sa mga Pilipinong
yung nga,
household workers?
In fairness naman, government to government, okay naman. Kaya lang may talaga mga employers na gano'n na, I don't know, it must be in their culture din siguro. Oo. Mahirap kasi maghusga sa kanila. Pero the problem nga is that it's a recurring incident. Saka especially it's the Kuwait.
Yeah.
Kaya ina-underscore ng ating Pangulo na kailangan ng kontrata. Ayun. So hopefully they will now agree to a contract.
Yung pong ibang manggagawa, I understand, of course, sir, income po to ng mga manggagawa. Pero yung pag-ban sa mga skilled workers, hindi po natin tinitingnan yon. Wala hong problema sa mga skilled
Wala
workers.
namang problema.
Ang problema talaga household
Sa
workers.
mga household, That's why I think I saw in the news today that Senator Villanueva is asking for a permanent total deployment ban.
I wanted to get your reaction on that, sir.
Well, it runs counter to the proposal to establish a department of OFW. Di mo ba?
In the works pa lang ho yun, sir.
Opo.
All right, we'll be taking another short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. It's him, sir, pati sa... You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III. Sir, balikan ko lang yung agency, yung 5-star. Ito ho bang kauna-unahang report ng may pinadala sila na nagkaroon po ng problema?
So far, yan pa lang. Although, hindi pa kompleto yung investigation na being undertaken. Kung this will be the second or third, then there will be enough reason already, at least to suspend muna. Pero initially, wala pa namang showing na this is second offense. Pero ganun talaga ang mga agency. Daming mga violation.
Yeah. And how can this be avoided, sir?
Just for them to be conscious of the responsibility.
Dapat tutukan nila yung mga
Tutukan nila
pinapadala
na pag
nila.
nandun na, more reason na dapat, you communicate with them regularly. Alamin mo, kumusta ka dyan, gano'n.
Yeah.
Oo.
Dapat may ganon, sir.
Dapat gano'n Wala kasi kung minsan tapos
Once
na,
they send you,
kumita na gano'n.
Tapos na
Oo.
Then how do you institute that, Secretary? How can you make sure that agencies really care
Meron
for
naman
the
ganun
Filipino overseas workers?
Meron naman ganung regulation that's part of their obligation Kaya nga lang, hindi masyadong natututukan. Probably also part of our inadvertence din siguro. Pero every time I have the occasion to do that, I always remind them that your obligation does not end upon their deployment.
You know, it breaks siguro our hearts, no, Secretary, kapag nakikita natin na yung mga kababayan natin pumunta abroad, mas malaki kasing kita doon, only to be abused or killed, no? Yung stepmother po ni Jennylyn ay humihingi ng tulong at hustisya. Let's listen.
Gusto ko, sir, si Pangulong Duterte, sir, sana tulungan na yung justisya para kay Jennylyn, sir. Presidente, sana tulungan niyo po kami, sir, yung pagkamatay ni Jennylyn, sir. Sana mapatay mo yung nagpatay sa kanya, sir.
What do you say to the family, sir?
Justice. Justice. They want justice. And that's what I made very clear to Ambassador Aldrich. I want no less than justice.
I have to say though, sir, I don't understand that. Sabi niyo po, by Monday, kung makasuhan na po yung mag-asawa, wala na po yung deployment ban.
Wala muna.
It will be
Wala
lifted.
muna.
But does that make it, sir, how do you say it? Parang we're not that concerned or serious, sir, about our household helpers being sent there and being abused na. Okay, we'll charge this couple. Pwede na tayo ulit magpabalik ng mga household workers doon.
Well, in a way...
Isn't there a better way, sir?
Yeah, there's no other way except to observe also tinatawag na arrangement kasi we have an existing MOA. If they do their part, then we have also to do our part. So if they charge the suspect, yung couple, then there is reason for us to lift the partial deployment ban. But if after that, probably they will be acquitted, then that's another thing. Kasi kung minsan hindi natin pwedeng pakialaman yung justice system nila.
Yeah.
No, but if they do not charge, then this may ripen into a total deployment ban.
If they do not?
They do not charge the couple.
Okay, yun po ang posibilidad. Sir, did you think about or consider maybe lifting the deployment ban that will be issued today, sir. Kapag nagkaroon na po nung pag-uusap regarding the local contract, sir, di ho kaya...
In fact, I like your thinking because, you know, Ambassador...
Because that's the thing that will-
Ambassador Altraik was telling me, can you please postpone the deployment ban until we talk? So I said, no, I just want to be assured that our overseas worker is given justice.
Would you consider extending the partial deployment ban until dumating po sila dito at mapag-usapan na at meron na pong kontrata mga employer, employee, agency, Kuwaiti and Philippine?
That's possible, Pinky. The possibility of lifting depends upon the development of the case.
Okay. Sec, when will her remains be brought back to
As
the
soon as
Philippines?
the forensic investigation is terminated, kasi kailangan i-autopsy pa siya, magkakaroon pa ng mga forensic investigation. Pero as soon as that is terminated, we will cause the immediate repatriation of Jennylyn.
More or less, sir, when do you see this happening?
Well, probably within the next 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4
In fact, I
days.
plan to bring her there myself because I have an appointment in South Cotabato on January 10. Baka makakasabay ko na lang siya.
Maraming salamat kay Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III. Sir, thank you. Maraming salamat po sa
Salamat
inyo.
din po.
Thank you for
Salamat din
joining
po.
us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines. Ano nangyari?